Hey everyone, it's Andre Luck here to share my video for this week. As you can see, the background, the setting's a little different. We're actually up in Jupiter this weekend. My wife's cousin, Olivia, is getting married this weekend. So I'm in the hotel room recording the video this week. But excited to talk about this week's episode towards the building a ticket sales team from scratch series, where I'm going to talk about building out the org chart. So up until this point, we've talked about getting executive alignment first. Like that's first and foremost, getting buy-in across the executive team, and then understanding the market that you're going after and knowing who it is that you're targeting and who it is that you're looking to sell to. Now you can start to slot those people into roles to make sure that you're capitalizing on the opportunity that's in your market. And I enjoy this a lot because even going back to when I was playing video games as a kid, I enjoyed more like building the team and like that GM mode versus actually playing sometimes on like sports games. So this is always fun for me to think through. All right, how do we build a team now to make us go out and hit those goals and targets and build a strong culture and what all goes into that. So for me, from a philosophy standpoint or just, kind of a thought process, I want to build methodically. I don't want to just take, this team here has this model. Let's just implement it here because we have the same size, same market. Like, let's actually think through and slowly build the roles and really push people to the point where they can't take on more before we expand and build out more. And not just, all right, it's hire more salespeople, it's going to get us more revenue. Yes, like there's some incremental value there, but it could also be getting the right tech. It could be investing those dollars in marketing. So really looking at what's the opportunity, not just throwing headcount at the problem and thinking that's going to solve the problem, because we've done that too much. So really thinking through and piloting different opportunities that we think where there's a new market. And if it shows that there is a market and opportunity there, then we'll invest more dollars into that, add more headcount, add more resources, everything like that. But first and foremost for me, you got to start with the leadership team. So I'm real big on that. And even like when we come in and work with the team, the first thing we look to do and pitch is like, hey, let's work with your leaders, because if you can impact the leaders and really enable them, then they can then impact and develop their staff. And now you're making transformational change, not just incremental changes here. So for me, it always starts with the leadership. They must be aligned. They must have the same values. So for me, it's servant leadership, it's coaching and development. Like those are things that are really true, near and dear to my heart, and want to find leaders that model that and have that same value system as well. And they're bought into the vision. Like we're looking to do things a little different. We're looking to do things that are modern, not just what happened at the team that they came up with or the organization that they worked with before. We're going to challenge and do things a little different. So I want people actively selling. I want them involved in the sales process. I actually had a conversation with one of my reps that I do work with now. He's in a leadership role. And I apologize. I said, hey, I used to be on you guys about prospecting and going out and getting new business. I didn't think you guys were doing it enough, but I wasn't doing it. So, I could sit back at my desk and be like, oh, you need to do more. And they'd tell me like, hey, like we just don't have time to do it. Like, it takes a lot of time. And I just thought they were whining and making excuses. Now I do my own prospecting. I do my own input into CRM and the data and everything like that. And it is time consuming. And I said, hey man, I'm sorry. Like I didn't give you, I think they could have still worked a little harder, but I didn't give them the credit that they deserve, because that does take time. But if I'm actively in it with them, which I should have been more of throughout my career, I should have been actively selling with them. I would have known those things. I could have better coached them. And I had reps that were struggling and be like, man, like I really don't know what it is, but like I needed to jump on calls with them. I needed to go on meetings with them. And like that's a blind spot as I look back on my career, that I want leaders that are actively selling. Maybe they don't hold a quota or a number to their head, but their number is the department's number, and making sure that we hit the organizational goals, that they need to be actively selling. So maybe we each pick 10 accounts we're going to work this month or this quarter, and we're going to give regular updates to hold ourselves accountable to that, whatever that exercise is. But I need people that are actively selling. I need people that are open to using AI and new technology and experimenting with that, because that's where the future is. And a lot of sales teams are behind on that because they just do a lot of manual work, and that costs money, that costs time, that keeps you from hitting new sales opportunities and new sales targets and goals. And we're like, man, like, well, why aren't we getting to our numbers? Like we keep doing the same thing we've always done. So we need to try things different. And the last piece for me is like a value that I hold true to, and like the vision I have for the team is training consistently on a regular basis, and whatever that means in each of their different areas. Or it really shouldn't be siloed. It should be a department wide thing that we all invest in and we believe in, and we're training weekly, we're training bi-weekly, we have these different coaching sessions, we have this rhythm to how we're continuing to develop and grow people, and that's just part of our culture. A lot of account executives and more tenured salespeople, they don't want to train, they don't like it, they think they're above it. And it's like, actually, the best salespeople are the ones that continue to train and push themselves. Like, I have reps that I'm working with, and they use AI themselves, chat GPT, and they're just role playing with themselves because they want to get better. Like, those are the types of people and the type of culture that you need to create and I want to create. And if it's just embedded in your system and you're someone who's like, oh, I'm too good for training, like, you're not going to fit. And like, you're just not a fit for this team and this culture. Somewhere else, they may be fine with that. But that's something that is near and dear to my heart, and something that's true to me, is we need people that are coaching on a consistent basis and people that want to be coached and are excited about that. And the last piece for me, and maybe I'm just more partial to this because this is part of what I do, but bringing in external specialists, bringing in fractional type leaders or project leaders to work on different things that either we have gaps or maybe not the bandwidth to fully get to. And so, like, the more innovative sales teams, not even in sports, just in business, what they're starting to do is look at their internal headcount, but also supplementing that with external specialists. So maybe there's an AI project, or a certain campaign, or maybe we're deficient in B2B sales and modern sales practices or group sales, and we need to bring someone in to help us over the next couple months, not just do a quick training, but like actually come in and be an extension of our team to allow our team to just go coach and sell and lead, and do things to help take us to the next level. So from a leadership standpoint, that's where I look at the makeup of the team, and like really finding the right type of people who are thinking forward, and also supplementing and complementing that with external specialists, fractionalists that could help us on different project type scenarios. So then I want to get into the actual staff and the actual team and like the makeup and what that looks like. And I won't get into like, all right, you need X amount of group reps or X amount of service reps. I think that depends on the demand for your product, the market, the opportunity, your goals, everything like that. But from a high level perspective, the first thing I want to do is go get my B2B sellers. I talk a lot about that. I bang that drum a lot. I just think there's such an untapped opportunity for sales teams in sports to go out and get businesses and do it right. So I want to get people that know that well, can do that well. They could have been in sports, they could have been out of sports, but these people, they're going to be more organizational focused. They're going to have a heavy focus and emphasis on tickets, and that's kind of their gateway, their entry into an organization. But once you get in, you can also assist with marketing assets, and that's more maybe corporate partnerships or sponsorships. There's people that have philanthropic arms to their business, and maybe they want to sponsor, do things on the community side. Like, what are the organizational initiatives? And you have these people who are knocking on doors, getting into businesses on a consistent basis. And how do we make sure it's not just siloed to them only focusing on tickets, but how do they grow the brand and extend that so that we're generating revenue across the organization? So I'm getting that layer leveled in first and slotted in first. And then also building out my account executive, sales team. Starting to build out service as well, account executives, sales, and service. But my account executives, I'd like them to be full menu. And maybe they're not 100% full menu where they're just selling everything. Maybe they have a little bit more of a specialized focus on groups or premium or season tickets, but they need to be well versed in all of it. And they need to have goals and targets that hold them accountable to all parts of it, because there's times in the business where maybe you need to flex, or times during the season you can't have your staff like, well, it's not group season right now, so I'm just not going to work as hard or do anything. Yes, you can cultivate future groups, but we can sell season tickets right now. We're setting up our premium assets and efforts. Like, we need to focus on that. So I need people that are well versed. I need people that are versatile, and need to make sure our account executive sales team specifically is that. There's specialist type roles where you have people maybe focused on tourism, Hispanic sales efforts, our cultural efforts, schools, youth sports. I would pilot that within your account executives first, give them like a specialized, kind of pilot focus. And if there's a real opportunity that comes of it, now maybe you make that a specialist type role for someone in like a senior role or a manager role of one of those different specializations. I made the mistake of like, all right, well, that team has this role, like, let's just, get that role too, or let's make a case for that. And maybe the market opportunity wasn't there. So you need to make sure that you're testing that out first, make sure that you're piloting that, and then if that grows and really becomes an opportunity, that's great. Now you can have more of a specialized focus, put more resources into it, invest in it, get headcount behind it, and stuff like that. So that's on the sales side. But on the service side, want to make sure that they're focused on growth, they're focused on account development and hospitality, not just customer service. So I want people with a sales focus, but can also handle the service. I'm trying to take as much admin work off their plate through AI and technology where they can really just build relationships, provide good hospitality, get to know their clients, build relationships so they can grow those accounts, expand them, get referrals, everything like that. So that's really the focus of the service and retention team when you look at the account executives there within the sales team.